In this first video, we're going to be talking about domain names. So there's two things that you're going to need to purchase at some point if you want a website to be live on the internet, in most cases. The first is going to be a domain name, or a name where users are going to be able to find you. And the second is some sort of web hosting or a place where your actual files and your website's database are going to be stored. So we have a location, and then we need an address that points to it, because when you purchase hosting, where your website is would actually have an IP address, but nobody wants to remember 104.52. whatever. And so we have domain names, something like yourname.com, and that's going to say anybody who types in this name should be pointed at a particular address. So there are other things like subdomains and things like that you can go, but we'll discuss a lot of those later. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to purchase a domain name, but I do want to point out that we don't actually need to do this at this stage. So if you're not really planning to have a website go live, or you don't know what your domain name is going to be yet, or you're just not ready to take this step, there's going to be an option below that says, either, I'll do this on my own later or whatever. And we will cover domain names again when we go through the launch tutorial. So at the end, after you've already built your website, you can go through the whole process without ever having a domain name. And at the step where we're going to launch the website, we will cover this again. So for whatever reason you're not ready to purchase a domain name, take that option below to skip the step and go on to the hosting. If you already own a domain, own your domain name, you can also take the option below that will say that says I own this domain. So for those of you who do want to purchase a domain name, we do recommend Gandi.net to register domain names. You do not need to purchase a domain from the same place that you host. That's a common misconception. They're two separate services that can be purchased from two completely different companies. So we can take advantage of some of the best domain registrars out there, and we think that Gandi.net is the best, not just because of pricing and great support and that stuff, but mainly because it's the user interface, which is incredibly easy for new users to use. The pricing is pretty standard across the market, and there's only a certain ways to do domain registration, but Gandi focuses on it. And also, like I said, it's really the user interface. When we get into later stuff about updating name servers and tying our domains in with Cloudflare and stuff like that, Gandi just makes it really, really easy. So we do recommend those. I'm not going to go over the steps in the video because it's a pretty straightforward process. I'm going to put tutorial text and screenshots below this video so you can register your domain. And after you've done so, move on to the next video, which will cover choosing your website host.